Hello, my name is Randall Snyder, and today in this tutorial we're going to take a look at some key differences between two agile project management methodologies, particularly the Kanban and Scrum variants. For those of you who may be new to the concept of agile project management, I'll provide an explanation. The traditional method of project management is also known as the waterfall approach, where the project is done in phases. For example, let's say you establish the phases of analyze, design, build, test, and release. In a waterfall approach, your team will need to finish each phase completely in turn before releasing any version of the project, which is typically delivered in large batches. While this method isn't completely without use, it can have some serious drawbacks, as any iteration of your project takes a long time to produce, which means it takes a long time to get feedback and know if anything needs to be fixed. Compare that to an agile approach instead, where much smaller batches of a product are being flowed through the entire process. Here we will simplify our phases for the sake of a concise example down to plan, build, release. In an agile approach, you would see a batch in the plan phase, the build phase, and the release phase commonly at the same time. The benefit here is each release allows for customer feedback, which can be used to improve the product in future iterations. A good example here is software development. Typically, after the initial release, the development team is likely already aware of some bugs and have those bugs going through the plan and build phases. Meanwhile, the product that has been released is also bringing in customer feedback. This feedback could be for as of yet undiscovered bugs or could be critiques of the design of the software itself. Either way, the information provided is then applied to the plan and build phases for future iterations, which leads to an improved release version with the customer feedback addressed in a relatively short amount of time. Now for the specific agile methods we're going to be talking about today. First, we'll start with Kanban. The purpose of Kanban is to allow for a continuous queue of work items to be worked on. Some of the major benefits of the Kanban method is that it limits the work in progress to only what the team can handle. It is typically used with a pull method as opposed to a push method, meaning team members will pull ready work from the previous step's done column, as opposed to the team member having the work pushed onto them. This not only sees the task typically handled more quickly, but also works as a safeguard against bottlenecks, since the team will always see the work in progress and can identify where the most attention is needed and can allow the team to adjust their workflow to address the bottleneck's root cause as needed. Here we see a Kanban board in Jira. In this simple board, you can see that we have a backlog column, a to-do column, an in-progress column, and a done column. In many cases, only certain roles such as project managers can see the backlog column. It is one of the few columns where work is typically pushed from by the appropriate team member into the first column, in this case the to-do column. From there, any team member we have can see the issue in the column, and if they click on the issue, we can see an expanded screen for the issue where more details would be located if they were needed for that issue. So once a team member has selected the next task they will work on, they would pull the item from the to-do column into the in-progress column. Then, once it is finished, the work would then, in this specific example, be pushed from the in-progress column into the done column. This is a very basic overview of Kanban. I will expand on the features and tools found in a Kanban board on Jira in a future video. Now we will move on to Scrum. Scrum functions differently from Kanban in one key way. Where Kanban works similarly to an assembly line with each person doing their task constantly until everything is done, Scrum defines a work period as a sprint. Sprints typically last anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks with a stated sprint goal. The purpose of a sprint goal is to provide guidance for the team and coherence to the product. Sprints are typically considered successes when the sprint goal has been met. During a sprint in the Scrum workflow, the team will only be able to see the issues from the current sprint. Here we can see this sprint with examples 4, 5, and 6 hasn't been started yet. So if we look over at the board, we won't see them listed here. This allows project managers to prepare future sprints without overwhelming the team with more visible work during the current sprint or causing confusion as to what needs to be worked on in the current sprint. In a future video, I will go over the process of setting up a sprint, as well as some of the tools and features found in a Scrum board on Jira. I hope you found this video informative, and if you have any suggestions on how I can improve on these videos, please feel free to contact me. Thank you for your time.